AZLAN ADNAN, MA, presents Nutritional Composition of Coconut Food Products. Thursday, the 23rd of July, 2026. Introduction. The coconut, Cocos nucifera, is one of the world's most remarkable tropical food plants. Every part of the fruit is utilized, from its refreshing water and tender young flesh to the mature kernel, fresh santan, coconut milk, coconut cream, desiccated coconut milk powder, and coconut oil. For countless generations, coconut has formed an integral part of the traditional diets of many tropical communities, where it has served not merely as a source of energy, but also as an important culinary ingredient and a valuable source of nutrients. Although these various coconut products originate from the same fruit, their nutritional compositions differ considerably. The stage of maturity, the method of processing, and the degree to which the original food matrix is preserved all influence their final nutritional characteristics. A young coconut, for example, differs substantially from a fully mature coconut, while fresh whole food santan differs markedly from coconut oil extracted from the same kernel. Understanding these differences requires looking beyond individual nutrients. Nutrition is not determined solely by the amounts of fat, protein, carbohydrate, or vitamins present in a food. Equally important is the physical structure in which those nutrients are naturally packaged. The degree of processing can profoundly influence digestion, absorption, satiety, and the overall nutritional value of a food. This chapter therefore examines the nutritional composition of the principal coconut food products from a whole food perspective. It explains the concept of the food matrix, introduces the chemistry of coconut lipids and medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs, discusses the nutritional implications of processing, describes a practical method for preparing fresh whole food santan, and presents the macronutrient and micronutrient composition of the major coconut products. Throughout the discussion, emphasis is placed on understanding coconut as a complete food rather than merely a source of fat. The whole food principle. Foods are considerably more than the sum of their individual nutrients. Every natural food possesses a complex three-dimensional structure, commonly referred to as the food matrix, in which nutrients are embedded within plant cells, dietary fiber, proteins, and naturally occurring phytochemicals. This matrix influences how nutrients are released during digestion, how rapidly they are absorbed, and how they interact within the body. Whole foods therefore deliver nutrients in a balanced and integrated form that isolated extracts cannot fully replicate. Dietary fiber, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and numerous phytochemicals work together, often producing physiological effects that cannot be predicted simply by analyzing each nutrient individually. The coconut provides an excellent illustration of this principle. In the mature kernel, fat exists within a natural plant structure, together with dietary fiber, protein, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidant compounds. During digestion, this intact matrix influences the rate at which nutrients become available and contributes to satiety while providing fermentable fiber for the beneficial microorganisms inhabiting the large intestine. By contrast, extracting coconut oil removes almost everything except the lipid fraction. Although the fatty acids themselves remain chemically similar, the surrounding food matrix is largely lost. Consequently, the nutritional characteristics of coconut oil differ substantially from those of whole coconut, despite both originating from the same fruit. Understanding coconut lipids. Lipids comprise a broad class of biological compounds that include fats and oils. In foods, the overwhelming majority of lipids occur as triglycerides, each consisting of one molecule of glycerol attached to three fatty acids. Fatty acids differ in two important respects: their degree of saturation and their chain length. Saturated fatty acids contain no carbon-carbon double bonds, whereas unsaturated fatty acids contain one or more double bonds. Chain length refers to the number of carbon atoms present within each fatty acid molecule. Fatty acids are generally classified as short chain, medium chain, long chain, or very long chain. These categories influence how fats are digested, absorbed, and metabolized. Medium-chain fatty acids are absorbed more rapidly than long-chain fatty acids, and are transported preferentially to the liver through the portal circulation, where they are readily utilized for energy. Coconut fat is unusual among plant foods because approximately 90% of its fatty acids are saturated. However, it should not be regarded as equivalent to purified commercial MCT oil. Coconut contains a mixture of fatty acids, the most abundant being lauric acid, C12-0. Which typically constitutes approximately 45 to 52% of the total fatty acid content. Lauric acid occupies an intermediate metabolic position, sharing characteristics of both medium-chain and long-chain fatty acids. Consequently, coconut oil behaves differently from purified MCT oil, which consists primarily of caprylic C8 and capric C10 acids. Scientific evidence indicates that coconut fat raises both low-density lipoprotein, LDL cholesterol, and high-density lipoprotein, HDL cholesterol. Its physiological effects are therefore more nuanced than the simplistic claim that coconut fat is either entirely beneficial or entirely harmful. As with all foods, its health effects depend upon the quantity consumed, the food in which it is consumed, and the overall dietary pattern. Whole coconut versus coconut oil. One of the most important distinctions in coconut nutrition lies between the whole food and the isolated oil. Whole mature coconut contains fat together with dietary fiber, protein, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and numerous naturally occurring phytochemicals. These components exist within the natural cellular structure of the coconut, influencing both digestion and nutrient availability. By contrast, coconut oil is an extracted product consisting almost entirely of lipid. It provides approximately 860 to 900 kilocalories per 100 grams, making it one of the most energy-dense foods available. While the fatty acids themselves are not inherently different from those found in the original coconut, the extraction process removes virtually all dietary fiber, protein, water, and most micronutrients, leaving an almost pure source of fat. This distinction is important because the nutritional behavior of a whole food differs from that of an isolated extract. The dietary fiber naturally present in whole coconut contributes to satiety, supports a healthy gut microbiome, and forms part of the three-dimensional food matrix that moderates the release of nutrients during digestion. Extracting the oil removes this matrix and concentrates the energy into a much smaller volume. Virgin coconut oil generally retains more of the coconut's naturally occurring aroma and a greater proportion of its minor phenolic compounds than refined coconut oil. Refining, bleaching, and deodorizing improve stability, appearance, and flavor neutrality but reduce many of the minor compounds present in the fresh oil. Nevertheless, both virgin and refined coconut oils remain highly concentrated sources of dietary fat and should be viewed as culinary ingredients rather than whole foods. It is therefore not the lipid itself that fundamentally distinguishes whole coconut from coconut oil, but the removal of the surrounding food matrix and the resulting increase in energy density. Preparing whole food santan. Traditional preparation of fresh santan involves mixing freshly grated mature coconut with warm water before squeezing the mixture through a cloth or sieve. The extracted liquid is retained while the fiber-rich coconut pulp is discarded. The method described here adopts a different philosophy by retaining the entire edible portion of the coconut. Freshly grated mature coconut is placed into a high-speed blender together with approximately 400 milliliters of water for every 200 to 300 grams of grated coconut. Several ice cubes are added before blending. The mixture is then blended continuously for approximately 7 minutes until a smooth, thick, and creamy santan is produced. The addition of ice serves an important purpose. Prolonged high-speed blending generates considerable frictional heat, which may raise the temperature of the mixture. Cooling with ice helps minimize unnecessary heating, thereby helping to preserve heat-sensitive vitamins and naturally occurring phytochemicals while maintaining the fresh flavor of the coconut. Unlike the traditional squeezing method, this preparation is not strained. The dietary fiber does not dissolve, but becomes finely dispersed throughout the santan, producing a thicker and creamier product while retaining the edible fiber that would otherwise be discarded. Retaining this fiber offers several nutritional advantages. Dietary fiber contributes little metabolizable energy to humans, yet it provides an important food source for beneficial microorganisms inhabiting the large intestine. In addition, preserving the whole coconut tissue helps retain naturally occurring vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and phytochemicals that are associated with the original plant material. The resulting product therefore remains closer to the nutritional composition of the whole coconut than conventionally strained santan. Nutritional composition of coconut food products. Unless otherwise stated, all nutrient values presented in this chapter refer to 100 grams of edible portion. The values are approximate and may vary according to coconut variety, geographical origin, maturity, cultivation practices, and analytical methods. Mature coconut kernel, raw. The mature coconut kernel is the principal edible portion of the fully developed fruit and forms the basis of most coconut-derived food products. Typical composition per 100 grams. Energy, approximately 354 kilocalories. Water, approximately 47 grams. Protein, approximately 3.3 grams, total fat, approximately 33.5 grams, saturated fat, approximately 29.7 grams, carbohydrate, approximately 15.2 grams, dietary fiber, approximately 9.0 grams. It also provides useful amounts of potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, manganese and iron, together with modest quantities of several B-group vitamins, vitamin C and vitamin E. Naturally occurring polyphenols and other antioxidant compounds are also present. The mature kernel is relatively energy-dense but remains a whole food whose nutrients are delivered within the natural coconut matrix. Young coconut flesh. Young coconut flesh differs substantially from the mature kernel. It contains considerably more water, much less fat, and a softer gelatinous texture. Typical composition per 100 grams includes approximately 80 to 90 kilocalories, 5 to 6 grams of fat, and substantially lower dietary fiber than mature coconut. Its higher water content makes it less energy-dense, while providing a refreshing texture that is well suited to desserts and beverages. Fresh santan. Fresh santan is produced by blending or extracting the mature kernel with water. Its nutritional composition depends largely upon the ratio of coconut to water and whether the fiber is retained or removed. Typical preparations provide approximately 200 to 280 kilocalories per 100 grams, together with 20 to 28 grams of fat, small amounts of protein and relatively little carbohydrate. Whole food santan prepared without straining retains a greater proportion of the original dietary fiber and associated plant compounds than conventionally strained santan. Coconut cream. Coconut cream is a more concentrated preparation containing less water and more fat than ordinary santan. Typical values are approximately 330 kilocalories and 33 to 35 grams of fat per 100 grams. Its rich texture makes it particularly suitable for curries, desserts, and confectionery. Santan powder. Santan powder is produced by spray drying or freeze drying coconut milk, frequently with the addition of food-grade carrier ingredients to improve stability. Because water has been removed, the nutrients become highly concentrated. Typical values range from approximately 650 to 700 kilocalories per 100 grams, with 50 to 65 grams of fat, 5 to 11 grams of protein, and varying amounts of carbohydrate depending upon formulation. Although drying may reduce some heat-sensitive compounds, the product offers excellent convenience and storage stability. Comparative nutritional overview. Comparison of the principal coconut products clearly demonstrates the influence of maturity and processing. The mature kernel contains the greatest amount of naturally occurring dietary fiber while retaining the complete food matrix. Young coconut flesh contains the highest water content and the lowest energy density. Fresh santan occupies an intermediate position with its nutritional characteristics depending upon both dilution and whether the fiber has been retained. Coconut cream is considerably richer in fat than ordinary santan, while santan powder represents the most concentrated form of coconut milk because almost all of its water has been removed. Across all coconut products, lauric acid remains the predominant fatty acid, typically accounting for approximately 45 to 52% of total fatty acids, followed by myristic acid and smaller amounts of other saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. Nutritional interpretation. The nutritional differences among coconut products reflect both the maturity of the fruit and the degree of processing. Whole mature coconut and whole food santan provide the greatest retention of dietary fiber and naturally occurring nutrients. Coconut cream and santan powder offer greater concentrations of energy and fat because of their lower water content. Coconut oil is the most energy-dense product of all because it consists almost entirely of extracted fat. These differences do not imply that one product is universally superior to another. Rather, each product has nutritional characteristics that make it appropriate for particular culinary purposes. Whole food preparations generally provide greater satiety and preserve more of the coconut's naturally occurring nutritional complexity, whereas highly refined products serve more specialized culinary functions. Practical dietary considerations. For most people, whole coconut products should generally be preferred over isolated coconut oil because they retain dietary fiber, micronutrients, and the natural food matrix. Whole food santan, prepared without straining, represents one practical way of preserving these characteristics while producing a rich and versatile ingredient suitable for both savory and sweet dishes. Coconut oil and coconut cream remain valuable culinary ingredients but should be recognized as highly energy-dense foods. Their use is best guided by the overall composition of the diet, rather than by exaggerated claims of either exceptional health benefits or exceptional harm. Coconut should therefore be regarded neither as a miracle food, nor as a food to be feared. Like all foods, its nutritional value depends upon the form in which it is consumed, the quantity consumed, and the overall dietary pattern within which it is incorporated. Chapter Summary. Although all coconut food products originate from the same fruit, they differ substantially in nutritional composition because of differences in maturity and processing. The concept of the food matrix provides an important framework for understanding these differences. Whole coconut products retain dietary fiber, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and naturally occurring phytochemicals within their original plant structure, whereas extracted oils consist almost entirely of concentrated fat. Coconut lipids are predominantly saturated, yet their physiological effects are more complex than is often portrayed. Coconut cannot be equated with purified MCT oil, and its nutritional effects should always be interpreted within the context of the whole food and the overall dietary pattern. Preparing fresh whole food santan by blending the entire grated coconut without straining preserves the edible fiber and more closely maintains the natural nutritional composition of the original kernel. This approach exemplifies the broader principle that preserving the integrity of whole foods generally retains more of their inherent nutritional value than isolating individual components. Ultimately, understanding coconut nutrition requires considering not merely the quantities of nutrients present, but also the form in which they are naturally packaged. The whole food, rather than any single nutrient in isolation, provides the most meaningful basis for evaluating its nutritional contribution to the human diet.